ZeroTaste here, and I'm back with part 4 of my 5 things you missed in Elden Ring series. And this is where the real game begins. The second act begins after we leave the starting area of the larger Limgrave area, in search of our next shardbearer and our second Great Rune. Liurnia acts as a pipeline to access the rest of the game. Entering Liurnia is inevitable, like a bad Disney Marvel movie. When you enter Liurnia and look across the mist-covered homeland of magic, you can probably tell that there's going to be mysteries and secrets abound. So now that the real game has begun, join me as I reveal 5 items that you missed in Liurnia. You know the King's Realm ruins? The ones you have to pass through to get to Carrion Manor? Those ruins that are filled with a bunch of teleporting and invisible dickheads? Well, there's actually more to this location than you might think. There's a dungeon below, and going down there will be your last mistake. As soon as you enter, you'll be assaulted by an 8-armed Portland resident looking head ass who wants nothing more than to grape your ass. Once you get good, then you can head over and grab our item, the Frozen Needle, which is a thrusting sword which apparently was forged by blacksmith E.G., but how did it get down here? I have no fucking clue. Regardless, the Frozen Needle is a rapier with a razor-sharp blade made of ice, which causes frostbite buildup as you might expect. It also comes with some ranged attacks that launch the ice blade out as a projectile that costs no FP. Scythes have been present in the greater FromSoft franchise since Dark Souls 1, but really only became a real weapon class in Dark Souls 2. Scythes and other similar weapons have featured a unique property in which they're able to bypass enemy shields in one way or another in each of the games. Our item in particular is the Grave Scythe, which is a drop weapon that can be farmed as early as Limgrave, but it's more commonly farmed in Liurnia, specifically near the lake-facing cliff. One problem though, it's that it's a drop weapon, so that means I'm gonna have to farm it. And if I know one thing about FromSoft games, is that when you have to farm an item, suffering is pretty much assured. So wish me luck.
2,000 years later.
Now that we have it, let's see what it's got going on. The Grave Scythe has the highest base damage of all non-somber polearms in the game. It can be infused with the Spinning Strike Ash of War, which if you subscribe to the spin to win strategy, then its ability to proc bleed makes it a devastating weapon. Finally, in addition to its damaging capability, it also comes with a passive boost to vitality thanks to some backwood hillbilly ritual. I want to use this time to talk about some classic FromSoft bullshit, and that's the Spiral Horn Shield. It is by far the most potent small shield in the game, but to understand why it's so game-breaking, I'll compare it to the other small shields in Liurnia. The 2 shields I'll be comparing it to are the Icecrest Shield and the Rift Shield. They are both useful niche shields that feature small passive defensive buffs that make them more competitive with larger shields. The Icecrest Shield provides a boost of 40 to robustness, and the Rift Shield provides a buff of 40 to focus. See, the problem is that our item, the Spiral Horn Shield, features passive defensive buffs of 50 to immunity, focus, and robustness. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Not only does the Spiral Horn Shield have all 3 major defensive buffs, but they're higher than the other shields as well. So we have a shield so powerful that it completely overshadows its peers and makes them obsolete. Well, if you want this godly shield, then all you have to do is steal it from some weird-ass furries in the Erd Palace ruin. Throughout the game, there are some attacks that are pretty much undodgeable, such as Malenia's infamous waterfowl dance. But I have a little something that can help you trivialize attacks like that, the Vow of the Indomitable Ash of War. It's a sacred Ash of War that can be applied exclusively to shields. It's dropped by a teardrop scarab in the Vile Swamp near the Albinaric village. It's a pretty unique Ash of War that when you use it, it provides you with 30 iframes and invalidates any attack that your enemy can throw at you. So basically, it's just a giant fuck you to whatever enemy you're fighting as you become invincible for an entire second. It does have a downside, which is the delay before the iframes start, but it makes up for this by having the least recovery frames. So if you're having difficulty dodging certain attacks, why don't you just throw skill out the window and say no? Have you ever thought the lands between like a certain kind of slapstick comedy? You know, the kind in cartoons where a character uses a comically large hammer to smash someone or send someone flying with a goofy cannon? Well, I have a little something for you. The Cannon of Hamia and the Gavel of Hamia are two powerful utility spells that are found in northern Liurnia in the converted Fringe Tower. But one does not simply obtain the Cannon of Hamia and the Gavel of Hamia, you must work for it first. We start by talking to this homeless guy Thops, and he'll tell us how to enter the Rea Lucaria Academy with the Glintstone Key. After you enter, you can go and find another Glintstone Key which you can give to Thops, and he'll reward you with the Erudition Gesture. Now we can head back to the converted Fringe Tower and use the gesture in front of the statue, while wearing a glintstone crown. And now all you have to do is head up to the top and grab the Cannon of Hamia and the Gavel of Hamia. And with that, we have 5 items that you probably missed in Elden Ring. Let me know how many of these items you knew about in the comment section, and if you'd like to see another video on a different location. Other than that, I'd appreciate it if you left a like on the video if you liked the video, and subscribe if you want to see more from me.